What we are going to do now is pollination. These are two different types of orchids. This one is a dendrobium, this one is a phalaenopsis. The process of pollinations are the same for these types of plants. What we are going to do is remove the anther cap. The anther cap is what stores the pollen grain, and then we're going to take the pollen grains and place it in the stigma. When you do this, if it's successful, it would fertilize the embryo. After that happens, the flower would close and create what is called a seed pod. And depending on the type of plant, it takes between 3 months to 9 months to get fully matured. And at that point, we would remove the seed pod and bring it into the lab to initiate. Now, the initiation process is basically taking that seed pod, doing surface sterilization, and placing those seeds on what is called an initiation media. That media will be the ideal nutrient that is necessary to allow those seeds to grow and to turn into new plantlets. From each seed pod, you're getting thousands of plants. So basically, from one pollination, essentially you can grow an entire greenhouse of plants as long as you keep multiplying those plants. Many of them will be successful. The only thing you have to contend with is contamination. But once you practice clean methods in sterile conditions, you shouldn't have any problems.
Yeah.
What we're going to use to do the pollinations is a toothpick. You have to first sterilize that toothpick with 70% alcohol. So you sterilize it, allow it a little time to evaporate, and then we're going to take the flower. This entire part of the flower is called a column. Inside the column is the anther cap. Underneath the anther cap is the pollen grain. So if you view under the anther cap, you would see two yellow grains. That is the pollen grain. We're going to use a toothpick to remove the pollen grains. Depending on the age of the plant, it will be easier to remove. That plant is more matured, so the pollen grains are a little more difficult to remove. But here you can see an example of what one of the pollen grains look like. There are upwards of 4 in each flower, in each cap. So we have to remove the pollen grain. Remove the pollen grain. Place it in the stigma. Stigma is underneath here. There's a sticky resin that allows the pollen grain to stick. Just place it under here. And that's the pollination process. Once successful, the flower will begin to close and it creates what is called a seed pod. And that is where you get all the seeds to go to the next stage of the process. Sterilize. Go to the column of the flower, the anther cap. This one is a bit different. The tip of the anther cap, it has a tail that you can remove. It's sticky. So what you do is you just remove the cap. The tip of your finger, you just remove the cap. And this is the pollen grain. That's what it looks like for the phalaenopsis. Place it in the stigma the same way. It's underneath. There's a sticky resin. Pollen grain sticks. And the embryo is fertilized.